Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so today we're diving into this completely fascinating paradox in the modern business world. Why is it that technically flawless products, the ones with absolutely perfect engineering, why do they sometimes just fail miserably, while others, often with way fewer features, go on to build these massive trillion-dollar empires? It's totally counterintuitive, right? It literally stumps brilliant engineers every single day. But stick with me, because by the end of this, we're going to figure out exactly how to navigate this whole dynamic. Okay, let's dive into this. To figure this out, we're actually turning to, wait for it, Bruce Lee. Yeah, seriously. If you're a fan, you probably remember that awesome scene in his movie Enter the Dragon, where he's giving his student a quick lesson. He is totally unimpressed with the kid's lack of focus, and he just drops this incredibly profound piece of advice. We need emotional content. And what's wild is that this exact sentiment, it is literally the blueprint for modern business strategy right now. Today, emotional content is the absolute most crucial component of a product. If you don't have it, it's not just a minor hiccup anymore. It's practically a guarantee of failure. It is the deciding factor for your business's survival. Section 1. The purchasing behavior shift from logic to emotion. To understand why Bruce Lee's advice is so critical today, we need to map out the single biggest change in how consumers buy products over the past 30 years. For decades, businesses operated on this one massive assumption that buyers were these highly logical, super deliberative decision makers. Companies seriously thought we all sat down, weighed all the technical pros and cons, and carefully calculated the exact utility of every single purchase. It was methodical, it was slow, and it was supposedly purely rational. But yeah, that's just not reality anymore. Today, consumers rely heavily on intuition and emotion. We subconsciously push all those old logical checklists to the background. When we're deciding what to buy now, we are entirely led by how a product actually makes us feel. And this brilliantly illustrates a huge disconnect that is still happening in boardrooms today. The gap between what companies think they're selling and what customers actually connect with. Let's look at a hospital MRI portal as an example. The author of our source text was at a British manufacturing event and saw this metal-detecting door portal designed to stop things like watches from getting into MRI rooms. Naturally, the manufacturer was completely obsessed with the tech specs, the IP, the supply chain, the whole shebang. But what actually grabbed everyone's attention? The design. It was just super elegant. That simple look and feel gave it a genuine, undeniable edge over all its competitors. Or take another wild example from that same event, Brompton bikes. Functionally, it's a folding commuter bike. It's basically a piece of metal that gets you to work and folds up so you can cram it on the train. Sure, the functionality is innovative, but Brompton has created such an enormous emotional value that it's reached full-on cult status. People don't just ride these bikes. They absolutely love them. They are beloved machines. I mean, they love them so much they literally host weekend rallies and grueling 24-hour races for them. Think about that. You do not race a folding commuter bike for a full day and night because of some logical, deliberative process. No way. You do it because you have a massive emotional connection to the brand. Section 2. Mapping the Brand Triangle. Dr. Deepak Jain's framework. So the crucial point is that this isn't just some abstract pie-in-the-sky theory. It's a highly practical map you can use. This is the Brand Triangle, created by Dr. Deepak Jain. It's essentially a field with 3 specific corners, and you use it to figure out the trade-offs that drive a product's overall appeal. And just to give you some background on how legit this is, Dr. Jain is the guy who oversaw the Kellogg School of Management's rise to become the #1 ranked business school in the entire world. So yeah, we can rest absolutely assured that he knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to winning in business. Let's break down these 3 corners real quick so you can picture where everyday items fit. First up, the emotional corner. These are products, think luxury items, that people buy simply because they make them feel good. Next is the functional corner. These products do exactly what they promise. It's pure pragmatism. You need a hole in your wall, you buy a drill. You're not buying it out of love. Finally, we've got the low-cost corner. Stuff in this bucket, like budget airline tickets, are bought purely, and I mean entirely, because they are cheap. Now, here's where it gets super practical for you. A product doesn't have to be totally jammed into just one of these corners. It can totally be a mix. Like say 60% emotional, 40% functional, and 0% low cost. Figuring out exactly where your product sits on this map is a game changer. It helps you gauge exactly where you stand against the competition, and even better, where you need to shift to really stand out. Oh, and real quick, before you think this is just for selling sneakers or fancy watches to consumers, this framework works just as well in B2B scenarios. Why? Because professional B2B buyers are, shocker, still human beings. Underneath the corporate suits and all the strict procurement rules, they are just as vulnerable to emotional messaging as the rest of us. Remember that elegant MRI portal we talked about? That was a B2B purchase, and it was heavily driven by an emotional response to great design. Section 3. The trillion-dollar case study, the Apple phenomenon. Let's move to and see how this builds into the ultimate, undeniable proof of this whole emotional framework in action. I want to ask you directly, and really think about it for a second. Why do people choose Apple? Well, our source notes that when asking people this in workshops, they almost never have a rational reason that actually holds up to scrutiny. I mean, you can usually find better specs for cheaper. The hardware is easily matched by competitors. But rationality isn't the point here. Apple just connects with its customers on an emotional level better than literally any other brand on the planet. $1 trillion. Think about that number for a second. The craziest part isn't just that millions of people choose Apple over the competition, it's that they are thrilled to pay a massive premium to do it. It's little wonder that they became the first company in history to hit a $1 trillion market cap. Customers happily throw their money at them purely because of that rock-solid emotional connection. It's the absolute ultimate proof of how emotional content drives just unbelievable, historic success. Section 4. Styles Supporting Substance, the final takeaway. Okay, so there is only one Apple, obviously, but the core lesson here is something any growing business can use. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is we need to clear up a major misconception. We are definitely not advocating for style over substance. I mean, if a product looks amazing but doesn't actually work, it's going to fail. A folding bike has to fold. An MRI door has to actually detect metal. Functional substance is absolutely required. But that emotional feel, that is how you achieve true success. It's style supporting substance. The substance gets you into the game, but the emotional content is how you actually win it. Which brings us to our final, and honestly most important thought. Just like Bruce Lee's advice to his struggling student, the concept is simple enough to grasp, but mastering it takes real focus. So, take a hard look at your own venture. Look at what you're putting out into the world. You've probably got the substance nailed down, but today's intuitive, feeling-driven buyers, they demand a whole lot more. So, I leave you with this. How will your business create its emotional connection? How are you going to inject that crucial emotional content to not just survive, but truly thrive? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to take this exact question back to your teams today.